Hi everyone, Soul Sweeper, and I I made the thumbnail, I did done the pictures and unpaid video. So, hi, how's everyone's day going? So, you're probably wondering why do I sound so upset? I just found out. We just found out today. My mom had stage 4 cancer because she has two tumors. One's in her lung, and the other one is it's on the side, and it's basically causing her calcium to go up. And well, they don't know what will help get rid of it and stuff, but it's stage 4. So, yeah. And my mom did not want to know how long she has to live, so I don't know. I'm just gonna be maybe working day job, trying to find some type of day job, and so yeah. So I may not make videos for maybe I don't know how long. Like after she dies, or I'm gonna try to make videos anytime I can. It's just I need to find like a better job so I can help him, help my dad out. And I know myself, I'm gonna be probably lazy and not do it, and it's just gonna be a pain in the ass because I'm gonna. But yeah. So, want to let all you know, I may not make some videos. I'm not gonna try to quit making any videos because I have so many series that needs to be finished. So I'm probably just make videos of my old series, try to finish them up, and then I don't know. I honestly don't know, guys. So or girls, guys and girls, better watch my videos. I'm I'm just in a mess. So I'm gonna try to make this what if and try to get this video as soon as possible. Alright. Which just sucks. But yeah. Anyways, let's get this started. This is part 3. Just give me a minute. Alright. Okay, I think I'm good now. So, this is part 3. Last time we left off is where I basically helped save Azia. I learned about hockey, and then, along with Ki, along with basically the Gum no Mi, which, I didn't really use. I just used the rubber to basically get rid of Fruit's gun. Yeah, I know. Basically, I've also been trying out my learn the basics of swordplay through Kendo, with the Kendo Club and for the book, and also basically, Rias and her basically game would, I probably didn't say it, but they were trying to basically get answers from me or talk to me, but I always basically made sure I was around other people, so yeah. So right now, we're basically in the part where I got home, and there's these weird-looking people. Brown hair, brown eyes, beautiful woman, basically, Vanilla. Red hair, little goatee, basically, green eyes, Zoltics. There was no pictures on what Sonia's parents were, so they call Lady Citri and Lord Citri. So, yeah, I'm just basically just letting you guys know in it. So yeah, but yeah, the whole entire basically black hair, Sonia's eyes, suit, and black hair and maybe different eye color. I don't know. Anyways, let's just get this thing started. So yeah, So, as I said, my mom basically said, they need to tell me something. Which, I'm basically now looking at my mom, and I'm like, huh? Okay. So, basically my dad was saying, well, take a seat, son. And I'm like, alright. So, I sit down, put my bag down, and I'm looking basically at, the 4 different people, and I'm like, so, who are they? And, well, my mom just sighs and be like, first off, before we say who they are, let me tell you, our secret. We've been wanting to tell you this, though, when you were 18, or, well, older, which basically my father would nod yes to that, and I'm thinking to myself, why would they want to tell me, when I'm 18? I already know I'm adopted. So, in a sense, my mom takes a deep breath in and then out and saying, this is gonna be hard to tell you, but we're, how do I put this? Even though she knows I know about the supernatural, it's not easy to saying, oh, your whole entire life you've been raised by devils. But yeah, I don't really care at the moment if I spoil anything. I'm just trying to make the video. So I'm sorry if I don't sound like it's, my usual self, the way I'm making videos, but I just wanted to make this out and just had to do stuff. But yeah, so anyways, but yeah, my father basically grabbed my mom's hand and saying, let me say it. She just sighs, we're like, fine. Goes like, my dad was like, son, we're devils. It's like, which I'm just blinking, I'm like, thinking in my head, I accepted a lot of things, but that, not one of them. So, in a sense, they basically see me blinking, I'm like, wait, what? Hold up. What do you mean you're devils? Which my mom's saying, well, we're devils who were banished from Devil Society, and our, powers were, sealed, but only basically 25% of it we can use our power, which my dad will nod, and I'm like, so wait. Who are these then? I'm just pointing to basically the 4 people, which basically the man with red hair, green eyes, and basically the goatee, white basically outfit, white and black outfit, just kind of chuckle, if you like. Well, you did say this was going to be a little bit funny, and even I have to agree it is. Just basically the woman just looks at her husband like, shush. He's like, yes, dear. And I'm like, which basically the man that's basically my dad's right side is looking at my father and being like, shoot, I mean, you said he was smart. Which my father then glares and he was like, he is. But to be fair, his whole entire life he thought we were human and he was being raised by humans. Which he's like, my bad. He just sighs and be like, you are really can be insensitive sometimes. He was like, I know, I'm working on it. Still. Which my father would just laugh at that. So, basically I'm like, okay, kid, can you just explain to me who these people are? Which my mom was saying a little bit basically of anger. This, and she points to the woman with brown hair, basically elegant looking dress, is my half-sister. So, technically your half-aunt. Which, I'm like, huh? I just look at her and then looking back at mom, I'm like, yeah, you guys do have some, yeah, I can see it, but half, just, yeah, you will explain about your grandfather's, love life later. And then basically my dad would point to basically the man right next to him and goes like, and this is my brother, your uncle. He goes, which I'm gonna look at him, he's just saying, hello. I'm like, hi? Hello to all of you? So, I was raised by devils, and I have basically a devil uncle and half-aunt, or aunt, which, basically, they will not. I'm like, okay, so can you tell me how this all happened? How you basically left the Dove community or something? There is a community, which I know there is, but anyways. So, my mom just says, well, it all started off when basically your grandfather had to marry, basically, your aunt's, just simply, your aunt's basically mother. He didn't want to. You see, your grandfather was in love with basically his queen piece, who was my mother. And though your basically, how should I say this, your grandfather's parents approved of basically of them being together, but this, how should I say, without basically being mean about your aunt's mom, basically Vanilla says scum. Oh yes, the scum basically did not accept it and basically used her influence to to basically get us to, well, get your grandfather to be with her. But the fact is, your grandfather basically did have a child with basically that scum, which is basically your aunt over here, but basically though he also, well, basically had a secret knife with basically your grandmother, which is my mother. And, well, then I was born. But the fact is, he never liked that scum to begin with. He loved to see your grandmother very much. They were together since he was basically young, so... Which I'm just like, okay. And then all of a sudden, though, basically something like, clicks in my head, though. Like a click has happened. I can hear as I get sent something. As basically, I get up and basically a magical circle is happening. And I'm like, what the? Which basically I hear the man goes like, he's here. Took him a while. As well. Then basically, a man in an armor and basically a maid with white hair, silver eyes, basically blue dress, come in and he goes like, sorry I'm late. Did I miss anything? Which I'm like, yeah, pretty much you missed a lot of things, a devil boy. Which he's like, devil boy? Oh, sorry, I'm just kind of freaking out a bit. Which, he's like, I see. I wonder why. So he just comes over and basically, he's right behind his, Vanilla, my aunt. So, and basically along with me, which basically, Vanilla will say, son, this is your cousin. Which, he just suddenly be like, wait, I have a cousin? I thought it... Wait, another one? I don't know if they have cousins, but I'm just saying... wait, I have a cousin? Oh, wait, another one, that is, Which, basically, as Vanilla just says, this is your half-aunt. Well, technically your aunt, but we're just saying that just to make it more simple, but... Basically, basically your grandfather that suddenly disappeared? Which, he's like, yes, after he got divorced to, basically, and then she goes, never say her name. Which he's like, mom, well, mother, is everything over? Goes, yes, just never say her name anymore. I told you this basically a long time ago, here's the reason why. So basically, he just went on and quiet and goes like, hello, nephew, but yes, technically speaking, well, your mom has every right to hate your grandmother, but to be fair, she basically forced, basically, our father to be with to be with her, which I was a why. It was like, but anyways, like I was saying, so, even though basically me and, your aunt here should have been born at different times, we were only basically a day apart. So we grew up together. We didn't know we were basically sisters, but I was treated no different than her. By everyone else, but yet by her mother, I was treated very harshly. And I didn't understand why until after I learned everything from my mother, and many years have passed, my mother died. In a sense, after basically her death, I was basically being kicked out or banished from the family. Which I'm like, the family of what? The Hudos? The Haganis? She goes, no, my original name before we made up a last name, me and your husband, not me and your husband, me and your father. Which I'm like, huh, what was your name? She basically goes, Bale. I'm like, Bale? Which basically, my aunt would then nod and be like, oh, by the way, my name is Vanellina. I'm like, hi. Okay. Basically, my mom would say, Bale has the power of destruction. And very, how should I say, it's very looked after in the ways with other devils. But the fact is, my, basically, my dear, person that my mom wanted to look after me, aka basically the scum, wanted to basically banish me because she was afraid, since I had way more power and control over the power of destruction like no other. Which, I'm like, blinking, I'm like, oh wait, what? She goes, yes, she wanted me banished, erase my memories, and basically never to use my magic again. But your grandfather fought hard because of the elders, and with the basically council, which they all agreed and did not basically give to that scum's demands. But I was only supposed to be able to have 25% of my power. I'm like, okay, so why do you hate Aunt, your half sister? She goes, oh, well, it's due to some things, which basically, even though no one not like, let me have some petty squabbles. Basically, Vanilla, but no, she blames me for everything that's happened. Even though she basically is happy with it, she always will blame me, and reason why people, kept on battling her in raiding games, which I'm like, wait, what? She goes, yes, your mom wasn't that big on fighting, but when it comes to strategy and basically tactics, where I can, get my opponents, weak into, so I can take them out easy, that I'm way more into. I'm like, okay, that makes some sense. Anyways, though, which basically, my mom was like, yes, before we get offhand, yes, I do hate basically your aunt for that, because of her basically prowess in raiding games, I didn't have no basically pieces, so people thought I would be easy, and they would try to demand me to marry them, but I always used the raiding game as a way to never let them. So, in a sense, I should have lost, but I never did, and that's basically gave me famous as the Lone King. Lone King? You mean like chess? Which she went on. I'm like, okay, that's evil pieces, then. I think to myself. So, basically, then my mom keeps on going and saying, and due to this, that's why basically the scum was afraid. I'm like, okay, makes sense. So, is there anything else? Like, I'm like, well, to be fair, hold up, my mind. Okay, she would then say, it's also to be fair that, I may or may not be descendant of Lilith. Well, Lilith, basically. I'm like, wait, you mean like the first, demon? And she was like, uh-huh. Well, one of the first demons besides, basically, like, the king of the underworld, or the king of the devils, Lucifer. Because he wasn't the only demon, devil to be around. So wait, you mean instead of a case of a demon and Lilith was a devil? He goes, yes. So, I'm like, a succubus. She goes, well, yes. And basically after she was, after everything else, let's just say her bloodline kept on continuing until basically your grandmother. So I'm like, wait, so that means she was, yes, I am basically part of Lilith's basically bloodline, but the fact is, here's another thing that's kind of interesting. Every fourth generation, basically, hold up. Okay, yeah, after I said, every fourth generation, basically, the bloodline basically continues of being a devil. Basically a pure devil. I'm like, wait. So that means, yes, I am a devil, and basically, instead of basically like some, well, basically, half breed or different breeds, for some reason, basically my side of the family, my mom's side, is a lot big. Well, a lot bigger than I thought. But I do have basically a lot of basically different family members. But they're all basically scattered around the world, so it's going to be kind of hard to get in contact with them when basically you're not a devil. Well, you don't have your magic, besides 25%. You don't have a limited range. I'm like, huh. And I just look at my father, he's like, well, here's the thing. Son, I'm from the Sea-Tree family. And this is basically your uncle. Basically, I'm not going to give basically Lord, Sonya Shaw our name, because this is going to be probably the only time, or at least one of the times where we just meet him. So I'm like, okay. Which I'm like, wait, you look like Sonya. I'm like, you met my daughter. I'm like, wait, so that means she's my cousin? Wow. I never really basically understood why. I mean, he goes, why technically she tries to basically be such a stick in the mud sometimes. He goes, which basically I raised up an eyebrow. He goes like, well, she is about the whole entire rules and such, but it's just, I mean, I like studying and doing everything I can, basically get good grades and such like anyone else. Well, I mean, I study a lot more probably than I should. Which my mom would just giggle and my dad would just say, well, studying is a good thing, and basically because of it, you have basically a lot of basically different knowledge so you can use in the future. I'm like, yeah, even though I know half of them won't be useful, but hey, I study basically for everything I can. Any tests, finals, or whatever. Which he was like, but still, why is my daughter a stick in the mud? He was like, oh, well, I never once see her basically, going out and hanging out with people. Probably shopping one time, yeah, but that was it. I mean, it doesn't seem like she really has many friends. Especially with that icy glare she gives some people. Which, basically, I could hear basically, my uncle's wife chuckle at that. And she was saying, you can blame my husband for that. She gets it from him. I'm like, alright. Basically, though, which is my dad with that, oh, how's Zeraful? I'm like, Zeraful, what? She's fine. Her work is tiring for her. But, that magical girl thing. Which my father was like, hey, let her have fun. I mean, she is basically, how old? And he was like, you know how old she is, but she should be. He was, which my dad was saying, look, brother, you tried to basically control everything like usual again. And you were trying to control your daughter, so she probably looked for an outlet of de-stressing. And now it became a hobby for her just to cosplay. So what? Let her have fun. At least enjoy her life. Like my son. I let him basically do other activities like study and prepare for everything. Which my uncle just makes the biggest sigh, like, I sometimes wonder why you're the older brother. I'm like, wait, you're the younger? He was like, yes, I'm the younger. By 20 minutes. Which, I'm like, huh. Okay, he was like, well, anyways. Basically, if you're wondering how me and your mother met, is due to the fact there was a ball, you could say. A ball for basically a young devil's birthday. Which, in tune, it was basically where your mother was just basically standing in one place, not wearing the most elegant outfit ever, but elegant enough for me. Which, basically, I could see my mom kind of blushing. It was just a little rags or hand-me-downs. It was like, which my father just chuckled and goes, it still look beautiful on you. Which, basically, I could see my uncle and basically aunt smile, which basically Sir Zex also goes, so, Clemens was simple. I went over to her and asked for a dance. She was actually kind of surprised, but she took my offer. After that, I heard who she was, and I kept on visiting her at the Bales' home. And, well, we found love. It was many years, basically, before she was basically kicked, well, banished from basically the bail house in the devil community itself. But we became the best of friends, and when I heard she was basically being banished from her home and basically the devil community, I relinquished my title as the next head. Which I'm like, wait, you mean like you were going to be... Yes, I was going to be leading basically the Seatree household. So, talked to my parents. They said it was being illogical and I shouldn't basically be rushing into this. Which even my brother was shocked. As soon as I told them basically my conviction, well, my reason, my conviction behind it, they knew right away I couldn't be stopped. Because I'm too stubborn. Which my uncle goes, yes, you're stubborn like a bull. Which he would just chuckle like, my mom always said I always got that from her. Which he does my uncle's size again. So, in a sense, I basically relinquished my title, being asked to be... I even heard basically what happened to her, so I asked her exactly the same thing. Before she left the devil community, or the underworld, I had everything packed, like she did, and I basically saw her father with her. He told us basically, he was surprised to see me, but he figured I would basically be coming. Your mother was shocked and asked why, and I confessed my love to her, and she was shocked. So, in a sense, we technically had made a little bit of a detour with your grandfather's idea, and we got married through that way. At that little detour. And so, we went back to basically the station, and he handed us papers saying if we ever... Well, this is made by basically an old friend of basically your mother's, which you'll... Well, he's next in line to be on the council if he does. We would technically basically be, welcome in the devil community anytime we want. And whatever basically child we have will also be welcome. Which basically... Even basically gave us some papers saying basically about the household of basically Baal would be, still basically allowed to use their magics. If there's any basically spell books or that they have and such, or magic that they have, we can still use. Because it was actually kind of weird that my father and mother also basically gave me some papers exactly the same way. Which I actually think, basically, your mother's father and my parents basically already knew what was going to happen. Which I'm like, so Grandpa, I'm like, which basically he would nod. Your grandfather knew probably and was making sure basically your mother and I, or in this case your mother, would be absolutely sure she'd be fine. And so, we basically were together and we came into the human world. Many years passed and then if you're wondering though real quick, if you basically why we're so young still is because devils age slowly. Which I'm nodding. So basically then, in a sense, they tell me on how they basically, why they came to an orphanage because they wanted to have a child, because they even told me about devils take a long time to have kids, and they basically wanted one because it's been a couple of years since they were in the human world and it was kind of lonely, so when they basically found me, when they went to the orphanage, they didn't really see any of the kids that, saying basically, they didn't really have no Pacific, but they didn't say, basically, it was just, when you catch your attention right away. So when they met me, though, and they started a conversation up, they already understood that, basically, there was something different about me than the normal kids. So, yeah. And I'm like, huh. Well, basically, I'm happy I was basically picked by you guys then. Kind of sound weird saying it like that, but I'm glad you guys adopted me. Which my mother was smiling like, of course. We're also glad we adopted you and we don't even care if you're human. But there's one thing that we want to say this right away. Which my father not being serious, which is kind of basically new to me. Because normally my dad is serious a lot of the times, and not this serious along my mother. at exactly the same time, which my uncle was like, Kenshin, what are you about to tell him? Which he goes, brother, what we're about to say to him basically is going to be very simple. In case we ever try to come back to the devil community, and anyone who tries to fight saying our son should not be the heir to the household, which basically my uncle and my aunt and basically her husband and my uncle's wife and basically these two other people just are in shock. We want him to know basically this, which my mom would not be like, we are not abandoning you for basically to have a child of our own. You are our son. We raised you and we cared for you. We are not going to let no one basically tell us if basically are worthy to be the household. Well, basically a part of basically a household basically of devils. You show all the qualities that we wanted in a child, so we are not going to basically abandon you because we'll always will love you, Riku. Which, just like, which for some reason there's some like, I have my eyes watering, I'm like, wipe them away, I'm like, thanks. I guess I didn't know I was actually going to be worried about that. Which, basically, my father would chuckle and be like, we know you far too well. If you're not thinking of it, it's somewhere inside your brain. Which, I'm like, yeah. By the way, what are these two? And basically, I'm like, oh, this is my son. As you already know, basically, when I said your cousin to him, like, okay. He goes, his name is Zex Gremory. And this is basically, well, Griffia. I don't know I forgot her last name, but I'm like, since it's family, she's my wife. So, Griffia Gremory. She basically nod and basically to me, she says, hello. Which I'm like, hi. Basically, I'm looking based on my parents and that, basically everyone else, I'm like, well, since since you share a secret like this with me that's big, I should basically share mine. Which my mother and father are then shocked. Even basically my aunt and my uncle and my cousin and his wife, basically everyone's just curious. So I'm like, well, I kind of already knew about the devil community and fallen angels and and angels. And, well, basically I hear a gasp from basically, from my uncle and aunt, her husband, and my uncle's, basically wife, and my cousin and his wife. Which my basically uncle like, Kenshin, did you tell him? Which basically I see my parents not even shocked, which they nod, he nods no. Which, like, Lilith, how does he, she goes, let our son speak. She says in a calm tone, basically that saying, like telling it all will be revealed. I'm like, yeah, I know, secrets. Well, but first off, here's another one I found out just recently, which basically my mom and dad are blinking because this is, kind of confusing. Even though I said basically Orpheus told my mom everything, they don't, basically she didn't tell them about the whole reincarnation thing, which I just sighed like, I'm also reincarnated. Which, basically, my mom was like, oh, you meant like, no, let me explain, I already know about the whole reincarnation cycle for, humans and pawn pieces and, chess pieces and all that, and cards and stuff for the angels. What I mean by reincarnation, I wasn't originally a part of this world until I died and was reincarnated into it. Which my cousin would be like, wait, so like you were isekai'd? Like, actually, so I basically just tell them like, well, I just say the G word in front of them. Basically, they heads are hurting, which I'm like, oh, can't say that. Which my mom just go on, we can deal with it. We're like, yeah, this unknown god basically summoned me by accident and killed me. So, as a sorry apology, he kind of reincarnated me into this world, but I have strange abilities. These abilities only work when I'm in danger. the more dangerous the situation is, the more or dangerous the person is, I get more powers added onto me, and the more powerful they'll be, or whatever is useful at the moment. Which my mom would, kind of be blinking. She basically, I already know basically, she basically would say this to herself: Orpheus didn't only say about his powers, not this. So then my father was like, so that means basically, yeah, I don't have none of my memories from my past life, but all basically these powers I know of, I basically can get glimpses of it for a bit, sometimes. So, yeah. Which my father was not understanding. But then basically my uncle like, okay, that's very unique and strange and shocking. But then my aunt was like, but we need to know, how do you know? I was like, oh, easy. I'm friends with Orpheus the Infinity Dragon. Just saying it so casually, like it. They're like, which everyone is shocked. My father like, that's my son. Unpredictable. Which basically my mother would nod. To be fair, I was quite shocked too. Maybe when I was talking to her, but to be frank, she basically seemed very happy to be friends with you. Like, yeah, the whole entire emotionless thing kind of basically helped get over that. Which just Zach's like, how? He was like, showed her kindness, compassion, and honey. Like honey, like the bees make honey. That just dumbfounds basically everyone. Which then basically the first one was my aunt's, husband. So you're friends of her, yes, and because she also basically had a fallen angel to test out what basically was with me, since she said I was an anomaly that appeared in the world many years ago. Which basically my aunt's husband will not, and then basically I proceeded to tell them everything that has happened, and then. Well, I did also then show them basically the sacred gear that I have. But the fact is, Drake's power is not awakened yet, so there was the crystal and such, and basically another crystal, basically just lifts my whole entire arm, but that's it. Which, basically, my uncle basically is like, fascinating. So, what else though? He was like, oh, yeah, even basically I got this new arm. I lost too much blood and I was going to die. So I had to become a dragon. Which, they're like, huh? Which that's like, a dragon? He goes, yeah, she said she based it off on the devil pieces, well, the evil pieces of devils. And she said there's maybe a possibility that I would be able to absorb a devil piece. But the fact is, though, the devil piece will be just spit out because the piece this non-shaped piece I have is, will take that shape of it and basically get the properties of it. So it will still keep the devil who basically owns that piece will still be able to have another basically one, which Zach is just amazed. Which he's like, so this means, yep, I'm technically an infinity dragon, well, and a human, but I also have powers. You see my patches of white hair? Which everyone would nod. I'm like, well, everyone besides my parents, which I kind of realized Orpheus told them. Well, my mom at least. My mom told my dad. I'm like, well, I'm technically a demon. Like, huh? So I kind of explained about Virgil, Dante's powers, and then basically I talk about my reflexes, where that comes from, and basically my regeneration, and tell them basically Dante and Virgil had a very high regeneration, but because of Wolverine's regeneration, maybe if I lose an arm, I can basically regenerate it very quickly. I don't know. Haven't tested anything out, just knowing what I could do. Which, that would kind of shocked everyone. Because I even told them basically about Sparta and, basically the whole entire story behind it. So yeah, basically, he's like, which basically my cousin, Zach, is like, interesting. So technically, he had the potential to become more powerful than anyone else. I'm like, yeah, but the fact is, no, I maybe actually began more powers that I'd be able to keep, and I don't think none of them would be too overpowered because of some things, but in a sense, if I do keep, able to keep some powers, that just will add on to basically my skills and abilities. As my arm turns back to normal, I'm like, oh, yeah, I also got this. Basically, I just hold out my right hand, the sword appears in my hand, and this is Yamato. The sword that basically was made from the tooth of the Infinity Dragon, Orpheus. And then just disappears, which my uncle, his wife, my aunt, and her husband are just in complete disarray and shock, along my mother's like, Orpheus did say something about that, but I thought she was joking. I'm like, yeah. Which, before anything else can happen, my basically aunt immediately gets up and like, that could work! Which I'm like, huh? What could work? Which she looks at, my aunt immediately looks at my mother and be like, Lilith, I'm sorry, but there's a situation that Rias is in. Well, I'm like, wait, Rias? I know she was a devil, so what type of situation she's in? My mother's actually kind of curious to be like, she's in the exact same situation as our father was, and that made her eyes widen, and she basically glares at her like, and you didn't try to stop it? You didn't even, as basically Lily Zoltix just sighed like, we tried, but Riser basically did exactly the same thing that woman did, the scum did, which Liv basically, I see my, not my lip, but my mother basically is grabbing the chair as she's basically magical powers coming off of her hand as part of the couch is being destroyed, which I'm like, okay, I never seen my mom pissed. I've seen her pissed, but never this pissed. Whoever this Riser guy is, or the situation, it's very bad. Which, she's like, have you been trying to do anything? Which, when Zach says no, he's about to say no, which my aunt's basically like saying, we tried. We've been looking to any situation we can basically get her out of the situation. We may not look like it, we have been doing nothing and just accepted it, but the fact is, I would not get let my daughter to basically in the exact same situation as basically our father was. I don't even know where he even is. He just disappeared. Which, basically I'm like, oh, you mean Grandpa? He just lives 3 houses away. Which, she just looks at me, and then basically looks at basically my mom, and she would nod and be like, so that means he... Yes, he was very surprised when basically he met basically Riku. He loved him to death, though. He was only 6 at the time, which I'm like, yeah. When he first saw me, he was very shocked. He knew I guess he knew I was human, and he didn't care. He accepted me as his family. Which, basically, that makes my aunt smile along with her husband, and basically about telling my whole entire, the Grimrick side of the family does, along with the Sea Tree. So in a sense, basically, my mother basically is calming down already, but she's like, so you've been looking into every detailed situation, strategies that could work, that can get your daughter out of the situation, but it failed. Which she would not. Then basically my father would didn't hold up. Just trying to see about what my dad needed, if he needed anything. Anyway, so basically my father was, as I was about to say, my father says this, and since basically our son technically is human, he could basically, and he's basically not a part of your family, we could have him basically, you would think, fight on Rhea's side, which basically my aunt would not, which Sir is actually like, but to be fair, I have to tell the devil council about this situation, Zex would say, as in Zoltis would smirk, in which everyone else smirks, as in all of a sudden a holographic image is there. I don't really know the names of the devil council, but let's just say this, as they said, the device says the devil council appears, and I'd be like, don't worry, Zex, we heard all. And Vanilla, Zoltix, you really were basically searching for everything to get your daughter out of this situation. Which Zoltix would just say in an irritated tone, with an angry tone, like, you basically are forcing our daughter basically to marry someone she does not love and who's way older than her. And 2, basically that we know who basically only use her because of her looks and body. Which Renown will nod, and basically get his more status up, and basically get more influence in the devil community. which one was saying, but yes, we need pure devils too. I just kind of interrupt. I'm like, technically half breeds are way more stronger than basically full-blooded breeds. I should know. I already know the knowledge of basically two Nephilims that can basically kick the Demon King's butt. Mundus. Which, one, basically, they would be like, huh. One would be like, actually, I think one would be female, like, saying this. So, the boy basically knows something about this? I'm like, they would kind of, because it was in the middle, they could see me. I'm like, yeah, technically, I would just say basically the type of demons basically Dante and Virgil faced on a daily basis, and same basically technically video game logic, but technically if we basically classify them, basically each one of them was technically strong. Well, each demon at the end of the game could have been stronger basically to took over the underworld or the demon realm, as you would call it from DMC. So Dante and Virgil, who basically defeat them, basically are stronger than them. Which, basically, they would blink and they would just kind of think about it, be like, I see. One of them basically would say, like, but still. The fact is that you're basically a half-dragon, human and demon, is very fascinating. Like, basically all of a sudden I hear basically something in my head, be like, upgrade complete. Great Sage has become Raphael. Which I'm like, hold up, because I'm thinking to myself, Raphael? Just, yes, I've upgraded basically to my final form, basically as you will call it. I'm like, cool, what can you do? It's like, well, as basically your helper, I'm able to basically grant you certain things. Some powers basically that I already have a database on from basically the being that summoned you. So, I do know about some powers, and I can easily give you them if you need them or ask for them. Anyways, I can grant you basically some of them, basically that would automatically basically be a part of you. So I'll basically say, I'll be able to keep. He was like, yes. And you already understand basically the lore of basically everything else. I'm like, yes. I'm like, okay. I'm in the middle of something, so she was like, I noticed. I'm like, yeah. Sorry about that. It's one of my powers I kept. Well, tell it's more like a skill. They're like, which one that was like explained. So I tell them about Great Sage and what it is, and then technically it says, okay, this may sound weird, but this is not an angel's name. It's basically the skill that basically Great Sage evolved up to. Which they would not be like, it's called Raphael. Which they just blink, and they're like, and one of them's like, interesting. But yeah. So, as basically as this whole entire time, one of the devils has been looking at me quietly. He goes like, Zex, Vanillina, Zoltix, which basically everyone kind of be quiet because this one hasn't spoken, which was in the middle of everyone. He was like, I agree basically with what you were doing. You're right. We basically have let purebloods be more of a thing that basically let the younger generation who are not part of our time, or I should say, of the time of basically old traditions around, suffer due to some of this, but it is true we need basically devils, pure-blooded, to keep it going. Which, though, he was smirking and be like, and Lilith, Kenshin. You raised your son well. Which Lilith with eyes wide and be like, so you did become a part of the Devil Council like you said you would. Which she says, of course, I never break a promise. And you will be welcome back, I assure you. But now, though, boy, Riku Hagane. Which I'm like, yeah? Do you think you can beat Riser? I'm like, beat him? Depends on basically what type of magic he uses, and basically how strong he truly is. Which they call him an ultimate class devil, which I'm like, I can basically punch him enough and knock him out, I think. I think I'm pretty good. He's like, cockiness. He was like, well, to be fair, I did kill a basically devil already. Which I think that would kind of everyone quiet. Which my mom would be like, oh, well, I mean, he did say it. And like, basically, though, I'm like, oh yes, we were kind of shot by the head, basically scales of Great Red made into armor. Basically, my uncle's wife would say, as the Devil Council would just nod. Like, yeah, I had a combination of basic powers. One for all, the Speed Force, and Virgil. which basically they don't understand. Like, different powers from different people, and one power, technically of One For All, had 7 different quirks. Quirks are basically powers that are in another dimension, or in telling the anime, My Hero Academia, which I don't own, by the way, technically would have, and basically this quirk had 2 quirks, Stockpile and Transfer. It's been transferred to 7 different people, and every time it gets transferred, it gets stronger. And basically, and the work that you put into it also basically adds on to it. So, yeah. So, after I said all that real quick, which basically I just hear basically this person, well, this devil in the middle, just man laughing. He's like, Sir X, we agreed to basically allow him to become a part of a devil family if he chooses to become part of this Grumry or Seatree family. Since he is technically, well, even though he's adopted, it does not matter if basically about blood relations. Bonds are thicker than water. Which, basically, some of the Devil Council doesn't like it, but they would not. And so, besides, having someone like him on our side will help us a lot. And basically, who knows? He may become basically famous in the Devil community. Which I'm like, yeah. So, after that, after basically just saying, go on, basically, so, yeah, I don't mind helping my cousin out. It's just the fact is, I'm just gonna try to not become a part of any devil faction, or any faction, and just try to live my life normally and be, friends with Orpheus, I guess. But hey, you need my help, What's family for, right? Which basically Vanilla like, wait, really? I'm like, yeah. So, what's happening? So what's basically what's going to be happening that I need to know? Basically, Vanilla saying, well, Rias was going to try to break the contract by basically by being with Issei Hudo to lose her, I'm like, oh, that. She was, yes. Basically like in canon, which I'm like, but it seems Issei Hudo basically couldn't. Wait, I'm like, what do you mean? Did he not understand the situation, what's going on because it happened too quickly? She says no. He basically said he couldn't. He would love to, but he just couldn't. It didn't feel right to him for what I heard. I'm like, huh. Well, he says he's a good guy, even though he's a pervert, so maybe there's something else. Maybe he doesn't realize he's in love with somebody. That would make sense. So basically, Vanilla would nod. Not Vanilla, but Griffith would nod. So, basically then she would say, but Riser's meeting her tomorrow at school, early, which I'm like, so that means I have to get there before school starts. Which, basically, she would nod. I'm like, well, I'll make an entrance by opening up the door and saying hello to Rias. And then basically, starting a fight with basically Riser, I guess. Which basically serves us for like, oh, a human's gonna basically fight a devil. Or, well, a human for now. Is gonna make fun of a devil and try to get him basically angry. I'd love to see that happen, but I can't. As basically Griffith would say, I'll tell you what happens. Which, basically one of the devil council are like, I can't believe this, we're doing this. Which one of them are like, well, basically you're friends with Riser's family, the Phoenix clan. Well, the Phoenix family, so I'm like, oh, so he uses fire? Which they wouldn't, basically, the middle one would be like, yes. Why do you sound happy about that? Which I'm like, oh, because I'm hoping I get one ability I basically loved when I was 10 years old. Well, kind of my first ever power activated. Which my mom was like, wait, what was that? It was, remember that car accident we were in and there was so supposed to be fire? Basically, my parents would nod. I'm like, yeah, I ate the fire. Which everyone just blinked and be like, you ate fire? I was like, yep, due to Dragon Slayer magic, I'll be allowed to eat fire. Which just Zoltix just start laughing. Then my father and they both and my uncle basically they say all three of them saying exactly the same time, like, this is, if there's nothing you cannot do, basically I'm like, who knows? But yeah. Anyways, after that, a little bit more chatting, a little more discussion, and saying them and go to bed. Well, actually, my mom also cooks a big meal for everyone, and they all eat, and I get to know Zex and Griffin along with my aunts. Well, my aunt, my uncle, and their, wife and husband more. And so I would get ready and such. But I would have a strange dream that night. A strange dream where I'm basically in the different place of someone else. I'm seeing the beginning of basically, well, of what happened to somebody, which I don't understand what's going on. First minute, obviously I'm there on the ground bleeding, then I wake up, and then everything basically would go in High School DxD canon. But then basically, I wake up, I'm like, well, technically it might be like everything in canon, time like everything in canon up to a certain point, like basically when the Riser incident, where basically Rias would basically be leaving before the day, which I'm just basically waking up like, why did that happen? What a strange dream. Why was I called? How did I have Issei's memories? Not memories. Could it be my past life memories? No, I couldn't be Issei. Huh. I know that much. As Raphael saying, well, Raphael knows, but she's saying, it is due to basically something else interfering with you. It's like a frequency. Something basically, is trying to call out to you. Which I'm like, huh. Alright. So yeah. So I got up early, I get ready, I eat my breakfast, talk to my parents, and basically told them how I'm going to do it, which my mother would just giggle and basically say, the Phoenix clan was always arrogant. Use their egos to your advantage, son. Which I would not. Okay, sorry about that. As I would not. So, basically, I'll get up and, go walk into school. So, I'll be thinking of basically my strategy and hey, Raphael, do you think that'll work? Basically, Raphael would do some calculations saying, due to the fact we did not know Riser's personality, but only what we heard, is basically, the fact is, you may have at least a 50-50. I'm like, oh, good to know. So, yeah. So, basically, when, Rias basically argued with Riser, because basically, Garfield's right there, without saying she's not his. And before Riser even said anything, well, Garfield was already, would be there, so he doesn't threaten no one. Basically, all of a sudden, everyone just hears the door opening, because I took a sign like, here we go. So I open up the door, I'm like, hi? Which, basically, everyone's in shock. Well, anyone who knows me is in shock. Basically like, Riku, why are you here? By the way, I'm saying Riku because I'm not doing the last name. I mean, I just thought it'd be much better, because I don't remember some of the characters' last names. So that's why I'm saying them all by the first, which, I'm like, well, I want to join your club. But, looks like a bad timing, and, hey, don't you think this guy's a little bit too old to be here? And, sorry man, but I think you're in the wrong place. Which she'll just be, looking at me and blinking and be like, oh, well, it's due to basically, she would kind of, I could say her cringe was, it's due to basically, I was hired by his father to look after him. Like, oh, rich guy? She would not be like, wait, you're like in your 30s or something, right? He's like, Riser does not need to tell you anything. Like, oh, talking in the third person. Great. Overconfidence much. Which is like, he's like, what? I'm like, anyways. Rias, why is he here? She goes, I'm telling him I'm not going to be marrying him. Like, wait, hold up. What? He's your fiance or something? She goes, unfortunately, yes. He's like, Rias, there's not, you basically, I'll make you love me, blah, blah, blah. Well, before he even says, after he says, I make you love me, with our time together, which I'm like, yeah, dude, that's kind of creepy. And also, you're way too old for her. Don't you think you should really go after someone your own age that actually could love your face? Which, that causes everyone to be shocked, and Rios is just in mind like, wait, why is he doing this, and why is he trying to basically make him angry? Which Riser just looks at me like, what do you mean? He was like, yeah, no, that's only a face a mother could love. And besides, any girl who basically probably likes you are only after your money, dude. Like, your personality rate, tell rate sucks. Which, all of a sudden, he basically, he goes on fire, which basically, everyone there knows I basically already knew about Supernatural and such. But Griffia would just sigh and be like, Riser. He was like, I do not care who he is. He is just a human. He shouldn't even be here. And, wait, why are you? He was like, yeah, devil boy. Or should I say devil, basically, man. No, actually, devil man-child would be much better. And basically your flames look like, basically, makes you look like a phoenix, so I guess, flaming chicken. No. Flaming, burnt chicken nuggets would sound better. Or burnt chicken. Or, well, any one of those lines would actually work better for you. But she's like, how dare you? I'm like, how dare I? How dare you, sir? Basically, do whatever basically you did try to give with basically Rios here, who clearly doesn't love you, clearly doesn't care about you, clearly doesn't want to be with you. Basically, let me guess, this is an arranged marriage that's forced. Which Rios would be like, yes. He's like, so? You human would never understand. I'm like, of course I won't. As I just go over, basically, and, look at Ethan, I'm like, dude, this guy, right? Which he's like, yeah. Hey, wasn't technically your... technically, technically, do you want to become a harem king? He's like, yeah. I mean, the devils can have one. I'm like, wait. I just look at basically Riser, like, don't tell me. He just snaps his fingers, I'm like... I just see all of them, I'm like... I just start banging my head against the wall, like, why did it have to be harems? Which... basically, that kind of confused everyone with Riser just smirks, like, what, jealous? I'm like, I look over towards him, like, no, I am not. I think they're annoying. Which, that kind of shocked him, was like, what do you mean? He's like, look, no offense to you, but if you're a small ego, you need one. But still, I don't care for harems, especially with the harem animes, because it's just cringy sometimes. Ugh. I mean, they can be sweet and stuff, and if I can find a good anime that has a harem in it, and it actually is decent, I can like it. But the fact is, just... you're basically being a fiancé, and yet you have basically a harem here. Or basically, it looks like basically the freaking oldest woman there, basically the one with the eye patch, has a fucking has basically effing, love for you. Which Riser just starts blinking and thinks, wait, what? She does? Like, you could have been with her, but no, you have to go after someone younger. I don't care how old you are, just... I really don't like you. I don't like you. So it does not matter. Riser does not care if you do not like me. You have not been part of anything. And I'm just like... okay. And basically, since he threatened me, all of a sudden, flaming fist. Basically, I'm thinking, okay, I know everyone's gonna say because here's the thing, he technically threatened me, so I'm technically in danger, and I have basically, a devil fruit, or basically which is the flame fruit, or Dragon Slayer magic. You can choose. Which Riser's like, wait, what? I'm like, say that. I mean, you're really pissing me off. Keep on talking, and I'll use this fist and smash your face in. He said, how? I'm like, none of your business. Basically, the magic disappears, and I'm thinking, Raphael, what magic? Is this magic? The Dragon Slayer magic? Which, yes, basically it is. I'm like, it's been so long I forgot about it. Which, basically, a girl steps up and like, who are you? I was like, oh, your name? Oh yeah, no, it's custom for me to say ever since you asked. The name is Riku Kagane. Just call me Riku. I don't really care about the last name. Crap. Which is like, Ravel Phoenix. oh my god, I feel so sorry for you. And how do you get such a basically? How do you get a little sister that looks better than you? Uh, that is still a question I ask myself every day. And two, how dare you? I'm like, how dare I really? Yes. How dare you say you are sorry for her? I am an excellent brother. Which I can see Ravel just nodding, but then she goes, even though basically you're a massive perv. Say, Riser, all devils are like this. Riser basically can agree on that. I'm like, talking to the third. Stop talking to the third person. It makes you look stupid. Ugh. You know what? Never mind. You're an idiot. Basically, that just kind of shocks everyone. I just sit down like, I'm already getting a headache just talking to you. Because like my brain cells are basically leaving me. Which Riser's prerogative showed that a human, of all people that somehow has magic, is talking to Riser like that. One of them basically would come up and try, with a stick and try to hit me, and just immediately fire, basically, my fist is already on fire, and I always say this no matter what, but Iron Fisted Dragon instead of Dragon, Iron, well, because it's always like, War Dragons stuff, so it just makes more sense to me to say it like this. As I say in my head, Iron Fist Dragon, even though Raphael goes, do you mean Dragon Iron Fist? I'm like, nope, makes more sense for this. As I say, just punch right for the stick, punching that your girl that would have knocked out Issei, sent her flying basically upwards. As basically one person would catch her, and I'm like, never try to attack me again. Which that would kind of shocked everyone, including Riser. Which he's like, Rias. Me smirking in my head like, please tell me I did it. Just basically Griffith was like, oh, did he actually do it? Like, basically, he goes, I will like him to basically fight with you if you're in the raiding game. Make him one of your basically pieces. I will allow it. Basically, she was good because I do want to have a raid, basically, a raiding game. Well, not raiding, but I forgot what it's called. I mean, it probably is a raiding game, but you know what I mean. Basically, the same thing they have in canon. Which, basically, goes, just because a Rise of Fear is generous, because you have, basically, this person, I'll give you more than 10 days. How about 12? Which Rias is just blinking, and she smirks, she's like, in her head, because I just gave them more time. Which, she would nod. She's good. And then Griffith goes, I'll let basically Sir Zex knows about this. As Riser will go over to his, Parage and heals the girl with a Phoenix Tear, which I'm like, huh? When I think in my head, and such, she'll heal, basically her injury was like, will be off, and they disappear in flames. Which I'm just like, which basically Rias has to say something, and she sees me smirk, and I'm like, I told you it'll work, Griffia! And you're like, yes, I know, I should never doubt basically your mind of a sea tree. I'm like, now then, next phase, becoming a devil. Which, everyone's just confused, and Rias like, wait, what do you mean? And just, huh? I'm like, oh, well, long story short, I'm your cousin. Well, technically adopted, though, into the family of my parents. Wait, she goes, wait, you're adopted? I'm like, yeah. Everyone's just blinking at Issei, like, dude, no one knew that. I'm like, I just look at them and I'm like, really? I thought it was kind of obvious. We didn't look alike. Like, which they kind of like, yeah, but still, I mean, people probably knew. I mean, I think I remember you seeing it, Issei would say, but I kind of forgot since, I'm like, true. Which is like, so wait, you're adopted and then how are cousins? Like, oh, it turns out basically your mom and my mom, well, technically they're half-sisters. Which, basically not Vanilla, but Griffia would not be like, yes, Rias. Basically, Lady basically Lilith basically was right there in front of me. Which, basically, Rias' eyes wide and be like, so that means, yep, hey guys. She's like, I'm like, well, we're not related by blood, so, doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I'm helping out because of basically our family. And also, I mean, my friend told me if I was going to join any devil family or any devil Parage, it should be basically the two of people. Sonia Citri and Rias Gramarye. So, it's basically I look at the piece as, for some reason, right away, basically the night piece, basically horse, basically would come up and basically, go into my chest without no screaming. Basically, glowing light comes around me. That's purple, well, multicolored, whatever, probably purple. And then basically all of a sudden, it just spits out. I catch it. I'm like, huh. Hey, Griffia. It's just froze basically the, night piece. She basically looks at it and goes like, huh, it still has its power. But she basically closed her eyes and basically she has sense from me, basically. She goes, I can't sense nothing. I was like, oh, yeah, hold up. Basically, I deactivate, basically conceal my aura and stuff, and basically she could sense it. She goes, yes, you are a devil now. Which basically, she froze back the piece. I catch it, put it back on. The chessboard, which basically, but wait, if it was absorbed into your body, you should, like, oh, let me explain everything. And reason how I know about the supernatural. So after explaining everything, basically, you became friends with Orpheus the Infinity Dragon, a dragon god. Like, yep. And then basically you say this, and then you saved her by pushing her away and got your arm blown off. Like, yep. This keeper says, you got sacred gear out of it. I'm like, yep. And basically, Vincent and you became a dragon. Yes, half dragon. Affinity. Well, a dragon in affinity. Which then and you became a demon with basically greater reflexes and regeneration. Of two different demons, I mean. Of some demon called, the Sons of Sparta? Like, yep. And just then basically, and honestly, and you can get powers from your past life? I'm like, yep. That should be everything. Oh, and let's not forget I have a skill called Raphael that basically is kind of like in my head that tells me the calculations of something, if I can see it or not, and also can grant me other powers whenever I need it. As it's just smile. In non-dangerous situations, as I smile at them. Which, we're just sitting down like, that's a lot to take in. And I'm like, uh-huh. Which Griffey was like, yes, and so the Devil Council already knows, and well, they approve of this. Rias, here. She basically hands Rias the letter, and she basically reads it out loud. It's from the Devil Council. It goes like, basically she'll read out loud saying this. Dear Rias, we of the Devil Council, basically, if basically your cousin, Riku Hagane, from basically your mother's side of the family, has joined your Parage, and we want to tell you this. You are allowed to basically have three, basically, whatever pieces he is. If he is a knight piece, you are allowed to have your three knight pieces, and basically if he's a rook, you're allowed to have three rooks, and so on and so forth. The fact is, though, this basically means, though, he's able to join basically any raiding game, but we have to have, some special events where he may, due to his powers, and skills, whatever he has further with you, wherever he gets, we may have to basically have him fight more than once, or basically more than one person. Because he is more than just a knight piece. Or what? Not more than a knight piece, he's more than just a devil. And many people would be after him, so we want you to basically protect him, make sure no one basically will try to convince him to come to their side. Sincerely, the Devil Council. Which I'm like, huh, kind of laying out there. Alright. Which Reese is just like, I can't believe it. Yeah. And since we got 12 days, we got plenty of time to train. And I basically will just have to tell the Kendo Club I won't be training with them for a couple of days. As I just put my phone, basically just text them in a group chat, which is like, wait, what? How are you friends with the Kendo Club? I'm like, I'm not a pervert like you. He's like, fair. Which now I'm like, also, I'm very surprised about something, but I'll talk to you later about it, Issei. He's like, okay. So, anyways, just, yeah, so just Reese will Reese would think to herself, we may be actually to win this, and if we could. So yeah. Anyways, just after that, basically, Griffith looks. She goes like, "I'll tell Sir Zex about this. Well, I'll tell your brother about this, and well, good day, Rias." Yeah, basically, she will leave. Now, basically, I can be like, "So, Riku, how's it basically you truly became well, even know Orphis beforehand or well after the whole entire fight with Renair?" I'm like, "Oh, after." She appeared out of nowhere, and I just gave her honey, and we became friends, as you all know. Which they would not be like, yeah, she also got her emotions. Basically, all of a sudden, I just feel like two arms wrapped around me, just like something's on my back. Just, hi. I'm like, hi, Orphis. Which everyone's in shock to realize, and, well, the devils who know will back up a bit from me. Isu's like, huh? Well, she's like, oh, I'm not gonna hurt any of you. So, how you doing? I've been busy for the past couple of days. I'm like, just joined a barrage, Rias, and, you sense my aura, huh? Just, huh? I was worried. You did flare it up a bit. Yeah, I had to let Griffia see if I was a devil or not. She goes, oh. So I would close my eyes and basically aura would disappear. I'm like, so let me guess. You want to basically you found me some spells or something? She goes, yep. I knew some basically people that will be willing to give me some copies. Here. As if she just hands me some books. Well, she would just basically made a new inventory, basically takes out the books and basically give it to me. And then I close my eyes and they just disappear. I'm like, and I open them up again. I'm like, thanks. I'll look into them later. Just, uh-huh. Oh, and Rias, take good care of my friend. She would just like, she would nod quickly. She goes, alright, now, bye. She would just disappear. I'm like, Orphis. She's a character. Which, you see, like, she looked like the same age as us. She goes, oh, trust me, you should have seen when I first met her. As I just tell him, he's like, Lolly Dragon? Just kind of go like, you made her change. Why? I'm like, thinking carefully because I don't want to because I kind of don't want to get punched by or any hurt. I'm like, to be fair, human, small, way she dressed, kind of basically being kind of suspicious, don't you think? She does blink and just with sigh and nod. So yeah, which means we're like, all right, since we got 12 days, we should basically make all the time we can. So, pack up your things and let's get going. And Riku, when we get back, I want to meet your basically mom. My mother's been talking a lot about her, so I want to finally meet my aunt. I'm like, fine. Which, these were like, I met her once when I was in middle school. I mean, she's very nice and kind. But she does have a mean streak sometimes, especially when I'm like, yeah, I know. Which basically they kind of look at me and be like, let's just say this, I didn't really have any friends in the past. There was a guy friend that I had that had a girlfriend. She kept on talking about me to him a lot, comparing me to him. So we kind of ended our friendship because of it. And a lot of the based on my friend group that were girls or guys, kind of what you say, kind of stayed away from him because it was a popular kid. I mean, most of them didn't want to and such, but still, like, yep, he was never good at his grades, so he never got into cool thing. Well, just thank goodness. Which, yeah, Issa would not. It was, anyways, though, I gotta get going. So, gotta have class and then we'll get packing. Which, Issa was like, oh yeah, true. So I just wave bye to Rias and basically I say bye to everyone and basically I'm just walking out. When I basically walk into the school, I'm like, I have a feeling I'm gonna have a little bit of fun in this situation. And so, this is when we leave it off, everyone. Hope you guys have a nice day, night, wherever you are, and bye.